Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. My beloved brothers and sisters, there are moments in our lives when the pain becomes too much to bear. We feel shattered, broken, and lost. People walk away, hearts are betrayed, and trust is destroyed. And in that moment, it feels like no one understands. No one truly sees the depth of what we're going through. But let me remind you of something beautiful. The one who created that heart is also the one who can heal it. Subhanallah. My brothers and sisters, when people break your heart, turn to Allah. When the world turns its back on you, Allah opens His arms wide for you. When you feel like there's no way out, remember that Allah's mercy is far greater than your pain. He is Al-Jabbar, the one who mends what is broken. He doesn't just fix you partially, He heals you perfectly, better than you were before. So today we speak about broken hearts, not to glorify the pain, but to show you the path to healing, the path to hope, and the path back to Allah. Let's begin. Broken hearts are part of the test of life, not a sign of Allah's displeasure. Many people, when they go through emotional pain or heartbreak, start to believe that perhaps Allah is angry with them, that maybe they are being punished, or that they've been abandoned by their Creator. But this is far from the truth. In fact, the very fact that you are feeling pain shows that your heart is still alive, and that Allah is drawing you closer to Him through that pain. You see, this world is not Jannah. It was never meant to be a place of perfection, nor was it designed to fulfill every emotional desire or longing. We were not created to live here forever, we were created to be tested. And one of the ways Allah tests us is through our hearts. Relationships, attachments, love, trust, and companionship, these are all things that bring us happiness, but they also have the potential to break us when they go wrong. And when they do break us, it is not because Allah has displeased with us, but because He wants us to grow through the pain, to turn to Him with sincerity, and to realize that ultimate peace can never be found in people. It can only be found in Him. Even the Prophet Muhammad, the most beloved to Allah, experienced deep emotional pain. He lost his beloved wife Khadija, his children passed away in his lifetime, and he was betrayed by those closest to him. Yet, he never questioned Allah's love. Instead, he drew closer to Him. If heartbreak was a sign of divine anger, then why would the best of creation go through it so many times? The truth is, pain is not a punishment. Often, it is a purification. When you go through heartbreak, it teaches you humility, it softens your heart, it reminds you that you are not in control. It pushes you to raise your hands in dua, maybe after weeks or even months of neglecting it. It brings tears that cleanse your soul. And most importantly, it makes you realize that your heart was never meant to depend fully on creation. The pain you feel is not a sign of divine rejection. It is an invitation from Allah to come closer. Sometimes Allah breaks your heart so He can rebuild it with more strength, more faith, and more understanding. Sometimes He removes someone from your life because that person was distracting you from your purpose. Sometimes He delays healing because through that delay, you are growing in patience, maturity, and trust. We often look at our heartbreak as the end of something, but in Allah's wisdom, it is the beginning of something far better. This test that you're going through is not random. It is perfectly timed, perfectly placed, and perfectly designed by the one who knows you better than you know yourself. Allah knows how much you can bear, and He promises in the Qur'an that He does not burden a soul more than it can handle. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, broken, or defeated, remember that your Creator knows, and He is watching over you, not to punish you but to guide you, not to destroy you but to uplift you. So don't see your heartbreak as the end. Don't see your tears as weakness. Don't assume that because people walked away, you are alone, as Allah never leaves. And when He takes something from you, He is either protecting you or preparing you for something better. Hearts may break, but they break by the will of the one who can heal them in ways no human can. And His healing doesn't just restore, it perfects. That's the mercy of Allah. Turning to Allah in hardship brings inner peace and divine healing. When life becomes heavy, when hearts shatter under the weight of betrayal, loss, or disappointment, and when everything around us seems to collapse, this is the moment when turning to Allah brings not just comfort but transformation. The human soul is fragile. It seeks refuge, it longs for safety, and it yearns for a sense of peace that no worldly source can truly provide. And that peace, real, lasting, unshakable peace, only comes from being close to the one who created us. There is something profoundly powerful about the moment when a broken heart calls out to its Lord. It may be in the quiet of the night, with tears streaming down the face, or in silent whispers of desperation in sujood. But in those moments of surrender, something amazing happens. The storm in the heart begins to calm. The chaos outside doesn't necessarily change, but the way you experience it does. Because Allah, in His infinite mercy, places tranquility into the heart of the one who turns to Him sincerely. Hardships are not just random events in life. They are often wake-up calls, gentle or painful nudges from Allah, reminding us not to get too attached to this temporary world. Sometimes, we lose people or face heartbreak because our hearts had become too reliant on something or someone other than Allah. And the moment we shift our dependence back to Him, we begin to feel light again. The burdens don't disappear overnight, but the soul becomes strong enough to carry them. People may fail us, circumstances may overwhelm us, but Allah never abandons us. When we remember Him in times of difficulty, He remembers us in ways we can't even imagine. He brings ease to our hearts, clarity to our minds, and hope in situations where there seems to be none. Turning to Allah isn't just a ritual. It's a healing process. It's pouring your heart out to the One who already knows every pain you carry, every tear you've shed, and every silent prayer you've made. This connection with Allah during hardship strengthens the soul. It purifies the heart. It teaches us patience and gratitude. When we face trials with the remembrance of Allah, we don't just survive them, we grow through them. Our reliance on Him increases. Our priorities shift. We begin to see the wisdom in pain, the growth in waiting, and the blessing in what was taken away. Allah's healing doesn't always come in the form we expect. Sometimes, it comes through the peace He places in our hearts even while the problem remains. Sometimes, He delays the relief so we can experience the sweetness of turning to Him again and again. And sometimes, He gives us something better than what we asked for. Something we couldn't have imagined if we had continued relying only on what we lost. True healing begins when the heart lets go of what it cannot control and holds on tightly to the rope of Allah. That rope never breaks. That source never dries. That love never fades. And that presence never leaves. When you find Allah in your hardship, you find the key to healing. You realize that you were never truly broken, you were just being reshaped. So keep turning to Allah. Even if your heart feels heavy, even if the pain doesn't go away immediately, even if the answers don't come right away, know that every time you raise your hands, every time you say His name, every time you turn to Him instead of turning to despair, you are being healed from within, not by the world, not by people, but by the most merciful, the healer of hearts, the one who never lets your tears go unnoticed. Dua made in heartbreak is among the most powerful and sincere. When the heart is broken, the soul becomes raw and vulnerable. In that vulnerability, something incredible happens. Our words become honest, our tears become meaningful, and our connection with Allah becomes real in a way that is hard to describe. At that point, we are no longer asking for the sake of routine, we are begging, we are pleading. We are pouring out the contents of our soul in the form of words that come straight from the heart. Heartbreak strips us of pride. It removes all the distractions. It humbles us. The things we once thought were important no longer matter. The people we once depended on may no longer be there. And in that emptiness, the believer turns to the only who never leaves. Allah, that dua, the one that escapes between sobs, the one made in the darkness of the night when no one else is watching, is the dua that reaches the heavens. It is not just heard by Allah, it is cherished. There is a hadith that tells us Allah is near to the broken-hearted. He is with those whose hearts are crushed by pain. And when such a person raises their hands in dua, Allah does not reject them. This is not simply because they are in pain, but because pain brings sincerity. Pain removes the filters. When you make dua from a place of heartbreak, you are no longer focused on eloquence or formality. You are simply crying out to your Lord with whatever words you can find. And that in its purest form is worship. Think about it. How many times in life do we cry out to Allah not because we want something material, but because we simply want relief? Not because we're greedy, but because we feel like we're drowning and there is nowhere else to turn. That is the moment when your heart speaks louder than your voice. And Allah, in His mercy, responds not just to what you say, but to what you feel. The Prophet told us that there is nothing more honorable to Allah than dua. It is the essence of worship. And when that worship is made during a time of intense emotional suffering, it becomes even more beloved. It's a sign that the servant knows where to turn. It's proof that even in the darkest hour, you recognize your Lord. That trust, that sincerity, and that humility are not lost. They're rewarded. Many people think that making dua means asking, and then getting what you asked for immediately. But Allah's response is far wiser and deeper than that. Sometimes, He gives you exactly what you asked for. Other times He gives you better than what you asked for. And sometimes, He withholds what you want, but instead pours peace into your heart that makes the pain bearable. That too is an answer to your dua. In heartbreak, your dua can also become a turning point. It becomes a bridge between your past and your future. Through it, you grow. You start to see things differently. You begin to understand that what you lost might have been necessary, and what Allah will bring next will be even more meaningful. But none of that happens without dua. It is through dua that the healing begins. So if your heart is broken right now, don't hold back. Don't wait for the pain to go away before you raise your hands. That brokenness is the very thing that gives your dua its power. Cry if you must. Whisper if you can't speak. Even your silence, filled with longing, is a form of dua. Allah is closer than you think, and He hears every heartbeat, every breath, every plea. Let your heartbreak become the doorway to a deeper connection with Him. Allah removes people from your life to replace them with better or protect you. Often we don't understand why certain people suddenly walk away, why relationships fall apart, or why someone we trusted turns out to be a source of pain. It hurts deeply, especially when you've invested your emotions, your time, your loyalty. But in those moments of heartbreak, confusion, and disappointment, we need to remind ourselves that Allah's wisdom is far beyond our limited understanding. What feels like a loss is often a divine act of protection or preparation for something greater. Sometimes the person who left your life wasn't meant to stay. Their presence may have been a test, a lesson, or a temporary companion on your journey. Allah, in His infinite knowledge, sees what we cannot. He knows the hidden intentions, the future consequences, and the unseen harm that certain people may bring into our lives, and so He removes them. Not to punish us, but to safeguard us. Because while we only see the moment, Allah sees the full story. While we mourn the loss, He is preparing us for something better. We've all had moments when we desperately wanted someone to stay. Perhaps a friend, a family member, or someone we loved deeply. We begged Allah to keep them in our lives. But over time, their absence became a blessing. Maybe their influence was pulling us away from our deen. Maybe their behavior was harming our mental peace. Or maybe they were taking up the space in our heart that was meant for Allah. And so, He intervened. Not out of cruelty, but out of divine mercy. This removal, as painful as it may feel, is actually a form of love from Allah. It is a cleansing. It's as though Allah is telling you, you deserve better. You are meant for more. I will not allow you to remain in something that's hurting your soul. We may not see it in the beginning, but eventually we look back and say, Alhamdulillah, that didn't work out. And that, Alhamdulillah, only comes when we trust that Allah never takes without a purpose. Moreover, sometimes, Allah removes people because He wants to teach us how to depend on Him alone. We become so attached to people that we forget our ultimate attachment should be to our Creator. When we lose someone we relied on emotionally, we feel empty, until we realize that only Allah can truly fill that emptiness. He is all wakil, the best disposer of affairs. He is all Hakim, the most wise. He does not make mistakes. When you trust in Allah's plan, you begin to see these removals not as rejections but as redirections. You stop questioning why and start saying, "O Allah, I trust you." The heart still aches, yes, but that ache becomes lighter when you believe that it was all part of a greater mercy. It's easier to let go when you're holding on to the one who never lets go. And the beauty is, when Allah removes, He replaces. Maybe not immediately, maybe not in the way you expect, but always in a way that's better for your soul. It could be a better relationship, a new beginning, a deeper faith, or even the peace of solitude. Whatever He gives in return will always bring more barakah, more strength, and more closeness to Him, if only you wait with patience. So if someone walked out of your life or a connection ended abruptly, don't let the pain turn into bitterness. Let it turn into tawakkul. Complete trust in Allah. Believe that He is protecting you from what you couldn't see and preparing you for what you haven't imagined. Your heart may not understand it now, but one day it will. And on that day, you will be grateful for the unanswered prayers and the doors that closed, because Allah never removes without a reason. And that reason is always filled with wisdom and love. Patience and trust in Allah lead to unimaginable blessings. When we go through hardship, heartbreak, or delay in life, our immediate reaction is often frustration, sadness, or even despair. But those very moments are the true testing grounds of faith. They are the moments when our belief in Allah's wisdom is not just something we say with our tongues, but something we live with our hearts. Patience, or sabab, is not passive suffering. It's an active state of trust, surrender and strength. It's choosing to remain hopeful even when things are falling apart. It's believing that Allah's plan is better, even when it doesn't make sense right now. In life, we all face situations where we desperately want something. A relationship to work out, a problem to be solved, a burden to be lifted. And when those things don't happen on our timeline, we begin to question, why the pain? But the truth is, Allah is never late, He is never unaware, He is never unjust. His timing is perfect, and His wisdom is far beyond what our limited minds can grasp. Patience isn't just about waiting, it's about how we wait. It's about what we believe during the waiting. It's about maintaining faith when everything inside us is tempted to give up. Allah says in the Qur'an, "Indeed, the patient will be given their reward without account." That means the reward of sabr is beyond imagination. It's not limited to what we can count or expect. It's a reward from the one whose treasures never run out, and it's not just in the hereafter. Many times, even in this world, those who remain patient and steadfast see blessings unfold in ways they never expected. A door opens where there was none. A heart is healed when they thought it never could be. A hardship is lifted, and they come out of it stronger, wiser, and closer to their Lord. Trust in Allah, tawakkul, goes hand in hand with patience. You can't be truly patient unless you truly trust. And trusting Allah means knowing that He sees what you don't, that He is planning for you what you can't plan for yourself, and that His love and care for you is deeper than you even realize. Sometimes, what we think is a delay is actually protection. Sometimes, What we perceive as rejection is redirection towards something far better. But we can only recognize these blessings when we allow our hearts to trust. Trust doesn't mean life will be easy. It means you believe, even when it's hard. It means when you cry in sujood, when you beg Allah through tears, and the situation still doesn't change, you still say, "Oh Allah, I know you are with me." That kind of faith is powerful. That kind of patience is honored. And the beautiful thing is, when you are patient and you trust Allah, He never leaves you empty-handed. You may not get what you asked for, but you will get something better. You may not see the outcome now, but later you will look back and realize that Allah saved you from something you thought you needed. You will see that the delay built your character, your spirituality, your connection with your Lord. So when your heart is tested, don't rush the process. Let patience become your companion. Let trust in Allah become your anchor. Remind yourself that your story is still unfolding, and the author of that story is the most merciful, the most wise. What He has planned for you is far greater than what you could ever plan for yourself. Stay patient, stay hopeful, and keep walking. Even if you're walking with tears in your eyes. Because Allah promises that after hardship comes ease. And that promise is never broken. Healing through the Qur'an and Salah rebuilds the soul from within. When a person experiences heartbreak, pain, or emotional turmoil, the world often suggests temporary remedies. Distractions, entertainment, or even unhealthy habits to numb the pain. But these are just surface-level solutions. They may offer moments of escape, but they don't truly heal. Real healing, the kind that brings peace deep into the heart and light into the soul, comes from reconnecting with the very source of peace in Allah. And two of the most powerful ways to do that are through the Qur'an and Salah. The Qur'an is not just a book of laws or stories. It is a direct message from Allah to you. It is comfort, guidance, healing, and mercy all wrapped into divine words. When you read it, especially in times of emotional pain, you begin to feel that Allah is speaking directly to your situation. Verses that you've read before suddenly feel new. They strike a different chord. You find hope in places you didn't expect. You begin to realize that your pain is not random, that Allah is aware of every tear, and that He has given you words in His book to comfort and uplift you. There's something incredibly powerful about opening the Qur'an with a broken heart. You're not looking for information. You're looking for healing. And the Qur'an delivers. Allah says in Surah Al-Isra, and we send down of the Qur'an that which is healing and mercy for the believers. Healing, not just for the body, but for the heart, for the mind, and for the soul. The more you connect with it, the more you start to feel a sense of calm settling over you, even if your situation hasn't changed. Alongside the Qur'an is Salah, your private, sacred conversation with Allah. When the world shuts you out, Salah opens a door. When no one seems to understand what you're going through, Salah is where you pour your heart out to the one who already knows. It's not just an obligation. It's a refuge. Each prostration is a moment of release. Each recitation is a reminder. Each Allahu Akbar is a reset telling you that Allah is greater than your pain, your fears, and your heartbreak. In sujood, when your forehead touches the ground, your heart rises closer to Allah. You may not have the perfect words. You may cry instead of speak, but He understands every tear, every tremble in your voice. That connection, pure, sincere, and unfiltered, is where healing begins. And the more consistent you are with your prayers, especially during emotional storms, the more strength and clarity you begin to feel. When people hurt you or leave you, Salah reminds you that Allah never leaves. When your heart feels heavy with sadness, the Qur'an reminds you that even the Prophet experienced sorrow, and that Allah comforted him. This spiritual connection doesn't erase the pain completely, but it transforms how you carry it. It makes you stronger, it makes you feel seen, and it reminds you that you're never alone. Healing through the Qur'an and Salah isn't an instant cure. It's a journey. It's day by day, verse by verse, prayer by prayer. Some days you may still cry. Some nights you may still feel lost. But over time your soul begins to feel whole again. You start to smile, not because the pain is gone, but because the presence of Allah has filled the gap it left behind. So don't underestimate the power of these two gifts. When your heart is broken, don't run away from Allah. Run to Him. Hold the Qur'an close. Protect your prayers. Let them become your safe place, your healing space. Because true healing starts when you reconnect with the one who created your heart and knows exactly how to mend it. My beloved brothers and sisters, as we reflect on everything we've discussed, one truth stands above all: hearts do break, but Allah heals them perfectly. No pain is wasted, no tear goes unseen, and no heartbreak is beyond repair when you turn sincerely to your Creator. What may feel like the end of your world is often the beginning of your closeness to Allah. This life will never be free of trials. People will come and go, attachments will hurt, and expectations will fail. But the heart that remains attached to Allah will never be destroyed. He is Bu al-Jabbar, the one who mends what is broken, and Aguash Shafaib, the one who heals all wounds. Physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Your pain is not a sign of weakness. It is a doorway to strength. Your heartbreak is not a punishment. It is a chance to rise higher in faith, to trust Allah more deeply, and to taste the sweetness of sabr. Every disappointment you endure with patience and every dua you whisper in your sujud is seen and heard by the one who created you. So never think that your tears are in vain. Never assume your brokenness is permanent. The healing that comes from Allah is not just surface level. It's deep, powerful, and perfect. He replaces loss with something better. He removes people to protect you. He delays so that you grow. And He answers in ways you didn't even know you needed. When you walk through pain with the Qur'an in your heart and Salah on your tongue, you are not walking alone. You are being carried by the mercy of the Most Loving. And when you finally reach the other side of that hardship, you will see with your own eyes the wisdom of every closed door, every unanswered prayer, and every moment you thought you wouldn't survive. Trust Him, turn to Him, and let your heart heal where it was always meant to. All in the remembrance of Allah.